Have you ever wondered if the foods you've trusted your whole life might actually be putting you in danger as you get older? As strange as it sounds, certain vegetables can become unexpectedly risky for seniors, especially when they interact with age-related conditions, blood thinning medicine, or changes in the way our bodies handle clotting. In this video, we're going to take a close look at 5 vegetables that may quietly raise the chances of clot formation in the brain for older adults. When eaten in the wrong amounts or combined with the wrong health factors, these risks often go unnoticed because most people assume vegetables are always harmless. But for many seniors, that simply isn't true. Some of these foods can interfere with your medication, thicken your blood, trigger inflammatory reactions, or even disturb circulation without you realizing it. So stay with me until the end, because understanding these warning signs could help you protect your heart, your brain, and your overall well-being. What you learn today might change the way you look at your everyday meals and give you the confidence to make safer choices for your future. Now let's get started. Number 1, spinach and blood clotting risk in seniors. One vegetable that surprises many older adults is spinach. Now I know what you might be thinking. Spinach has always been called a superfood, packed with vitamins, iron, and all sorts of good things for the body. But here's the other side of the story that a lot of folks in their 60s, 70s, and beyond just don't hear enough about. Spinach is extremely high in vitamin K, and for many seniors, that can be a double-edged sword. You see, vitamin K is essential for proper blood clotting. If you're young and healthy, your body keeps everything balanced. But as we get older, especially if we're dealing with heart issues, atrial fibrillation, or if we've ever had a stroke, we may be taking medications like warfarin or other blood thinners. Here's where spinach suddenly becomes a wild card. Eating a lot of spinach can cause big swings in vitamin K levels, which may actually make it harder for your medicine to work as intended. The result, your blood might become too sticky, raising the risk of clots that can travel up to your brain and cause a stroke. For example, I once knew a fellow named George who at 74 was proud of eating healthy and exercising every morning. He never missed his salads, always tossed in a big handful of spinach. But what he didn't realize was that his blood tests kept coming back all over the place. Not because his medicine was wrong, but because he didn't know how spinach could throw things off balance. It took a scare and a talk with his doctor before he finally understood how one healthy habit could be dangerous without the right information. So what's the lesson here? If you're taking any kind of blood thinner, you can still enjoy spinach, but consistency is key. Don't suddenly eat a big batch after weeks of none, and never start or stop spinach-heavy meals without talking to your doctor or pharmacist. That steady, predictable intake is what helps your medicine work safely, keeping your blood from swinging between too thick and too thin. Many people overlook how powerful certain foods can be, especially as we age. Spinach itself isn't the villain. It's the way it interacts with our changing bodies and our prescriptions that can set the stage for trouble. It's a reminder that good health isn't just about what you eat, but about how those foods fit into the bigger picture of your well-being. Number 2, beets and unexpected blood flow hazards. Beets have gained quite the reputation for supporting circulation and lowering blood pressure. But here's a twist few seniors ever hear about. For some older adults, especially those already on harder blood pressure medications, beets can throw off the body's balance in ways that quietly increase the chance of clot formation in the brain. First, let's talk about what makes beets both celebrated and risky. They're high in natural nitrates, which the body converts into nitric oxide. That usually means relaxed blood vessels and, for many, better blood flow. But if you're already taking medications like beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, or even over-the-counter vasodilators, loading up on beets can unexpectedly amplify those effects. Your blood pressure might drop more than expected, causing dizziness or even fainting, especially when you stand up quickly. Now, what most people don't realize is that big swings in blood pressure, especially sudden drops, can actually signal the body to trigger compensatory mechanisms, like making the blood temporarily more prone to clotting to help protect vital organs. That's not all. Beets are also rich in oxalates. For folks with slower kidney function, which, let's be honest, is almost everyone past a certain age, oxalates can build up and contribute to kidney stones. But even more concerning, high oxalate levels can subtly irritate blood vessel linings and make them a little stickier, increasing the risk of tiny clots that can travel where they shouldn't. For someone with a history of stroke or clotting issues, this is a problem worth paying close attention to. Take, for instance, a friend of mine named Carol, now 80, who always enjoyed a good beet salad with her lunch. After switching to a new blood pressure prescription, she started feeling lightheaded and chalked it up to just getting older. But when her doctor ran a few tests, they realized her blood pressure was dropping too low at times, prompting small undetected clots to form during those spells. By simply adjusting her diet and medication routine, less beet salad, more regular monitoring, Carol turned things around and felt more steady and sharp day to day. So what can we learn from this? Beets are not bad foods, but their nutrients can act like medicine in the body, especially for seniors with complex health needs. If you're taking heart or blood pressure medicine, talk with your doctor before making beets a big part of your diet. And watch for new symptoms like dizziness or unusual tiredness. Remember, everybody's different, and sometimes what works for one person might be risky for another, especially as we age. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, kale and its hidden dangers for blood clot-prone seniors. Kale is one of those foods that seems to have taken the world by storm in the past 20 years. From green smoothies at the neighborhood cafe to health magazines claiming it's the key to longevity, kale has become a symbol of healthy eating for Americans of all ages. But if you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, there's a lesser-known side to kale that most folks never hear about, one that deserves a careful second look if you want to keep your brain and your heart safe. Let's start with the basics. Kale, much like spinach, is loaded with vitamin K. Now, vitamin K is essential for making sure our blood clots when we have a scrape or a bruise. That sounds like a good thing, doesn't it? And for most of our lives, it is. But when you reach a certain age, especially if you're on blood thinners or dealing with heart and vascular conditions, that same vitamin K can quietly throw your health off track. It doesn't happen overnight. Instead, it's the slow, day in and day out changes, sudden increases in kale salads or green juices that create a roller coaster for your medication's effectiveness. Imagine you're like my old friend Walter, age 77, who loved making kale chips for his grandchildren every Sunday. What he didn't know was that the big bowl of crispy greens he was sharing could shift the delicate balance his doctor had worked so hard to maintain with his medications. 1 month his blood test showed perfect numbers. The next he was off balance, not because of a change in medication, but because his kale consumption swung wildly from week to week. For seniors taking warfarin or other blood thinners, those changes can make your blood unpredictably thick or thin, which means the risk of a clot traveling to your brain goes up, sometimes without any warning at all. But kale's impact doesn't end with just medication. This leafy green is also high in compounds called goitrogens, which can affect your thyroid, especially if you eat a lot of it raw. The thyroid is responsible for regulating your metabolism and blood flow. When it's thrown out of balance, something that happens more easily as we get older, it can set off a domino effect in the body, impacting everything from your energy levels to your heart rhythm. An irregular heartbeat or sluggish metabolism may not sound related to clots, but in the aging body, anything that throws off your normal rhythms can make clot formation more likely, especially in folks who are already at higher risk. There's another piece to this puzzle. Many seniors hear about antioxidants and think the more the better. But even healthy foods can backfire when they're eaten in huge quantities without any sense of balance. Kale's antioxidants are powerful, but they can interact with some prescription medications in unpredictable ways, either boosting their effects or, in rare cases, blocking them. That means your well-meaning effort to eat your greens could actually create more risk than reward if you're not keeping an eye on the bigger picture. So what does this all add up to? Kale is not the enemy. It's a wonderful food in the right amount and with the right guidance. But for seniors, especially those juggling several medications or health conditions, moderation and consistency are your greatest allies. Never double or triple your greens on a whim, And always let your healthcare provider know if you're making big changes to your diet, especially with foods high in vitamin K. Your health is built on daily choices, many of them small, but all of them important. Kale's story is a reminder that even foods we've been told are superfoods need to be handled with wisdom and care as we grow older. It's never about giving up healthy foods altogether, but about finding the right balance for your unique needs. And as you learn to listen to your body, and as you pay attention to the way food, medicine, and age interact, you'll be taking one of the most important steps towards staying strong and safe for years to come. Number 4, asparagus in the overlooked blood chemistry trap. When people talk about heart-healthy eating, asparagus almost always gets a gold star. It's low in calories, rich in fiber, and filled with B vitamins and antioxidants. On paper, it sounds like a smart choice for anyone who wants to age gracefully. But as we get into our 60s, 70s, and 80s, some hidden aspects of asparagus can actually set off a chain reaction in our bodies, tipping the scales toward blood clot risk in ways most people never expect. Let's break down why this matters. Asparagus is especially high in vitamin K, much like spinach and kale. That means if you're taking blood thinners, whether it's warfarin, apixaban, or another kind, your daily asparagus habit can throw a wrench into your medication plan. Now, this doesn't mean you need to avoid asparagus altogether. The real danger comes from sudden changes, eating very little for a while, then suddenly making it the main star of every meal. Your body thrives on consistency, especially when it comes to foods that affect blood clotting. But most folks aren't aware of just how sensitive that balance really is in older age. A big spike in vitamin K intake can lead to unpredictable swings in how your blood clots, making your medication work too much or too little. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's the brain that pays the price. But there's another piece too, asparagus that's rarely talked about. Asparagus contains a unique group of natural compounds called purines, which when broken down produce uric acid. Now, for most folks in their younger years, that's no big deal. Our kidneys handle it. But as we get older, the kidneys slow down, and higher levels of uric acid can quietly lead to inflammation and increase the thickness of the blood. In the wrong context, especially if you're already prone to clotting or have had a mini stroke before, this small shift can help tip the scales toward dangerous clot formation. Take the story of a woman named Evelyn, 82, who prided herself on her healthy meals. She loved asparagus, ate it roasted, grilled, or even in soups. But she never realized that her new love for asparagus-heavy meals, combined with her blood thinner, led to unpredictable bruising and wild swings in her blood test results. Her doctor explained that it wasn't the asparagus alone, but the way she was eating it, sometimes none for weeks. Then suddenly a whole bunch. When she balanced her intake and kept her doctor in the loop, things evened out, and she felt stronger, safer, and more confident day to day. Another detail that's easy to overlook. Asparagus is a powerful diuretic. This means it can make you urinate more, which sounds harmless, but it can cause slight dehydration, especially if you're not drinking enough water. For seniors, dehydration thickens the blood and raises the risk for clots. Many older adults miss the warning signs. Maybe a little more fatigue, a dry mouth, or just feeling off. These are subtle clues that your body's chemistry is shifting, and in combination with other risk factors, they can raise your chances of an unwanted event. What's the bottom line? Asparagus, like all vegetables, has a place at the table. But if you're managing your health in your later years, it's not about chasing trends or eating superfoods in bulk. It's about understanding how each food fits your specific needs, medical conditions, and daily routines. Always check in with your doctor or pharmacist before making big changes to your diet, especially if you're taking medications that affect your blood. And above all, listen to your body's signals. Even foods that seem healthy on the surface can have hidden effects, and staying informed is the key to real well-being. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, Brussels sprouts and the clotting conundrum in older adults. Brussels sprouts are one of those vegetables that people either love or avoid, but there's no denying they become a favorite on many dinner tables, especially during the holidays. For seniors who want to do everything right for their health, roasting a pan of Brussels sprouts can feel like a wise choice. But here's something most folks in their 60s, 70s, and 80s rarely hear. When it comes to blood clots, Brussels sprouts pack more punch than meets the eye. What's hiding in these tiny green globes? First and foremost, Brussels sprouts are rich in, you guessed it, vitamin K. It's a repeating theme, but for good reason. For anyone taking anticoagulants, the steady rise and fall of vitamin K from your diet is one of the biggest factors that can make your blood work unpredictable. If you're enjoying Brussels sprouts every so often and then suddenly start having them at every meal, your body might respond with uneven clotting. This can make your blood test results bounce around, leaving you at higher risk for clots that can travel to the brain, or, on the other side, dangerous bleeding. Seniors who understand this relationship have a powerful tool for protecting their health: consistency, moderation, and open communication with their healthcare team. But Brussels sprouts don't just influence clotting because of vitamin K. These vegetables are packed with a range of natural plant chemicals called glucosinolates. When you eat them, your body breaks these down into other compounds that may have both protective and risky effects depending on your own health profile. For some older adults, these breakdown products may cause mild irritation of the gut or contribute to subtle inflammation, which can influence how sticky or reactive the blood becomes. Especially if you already have vascular issues or a history of mini strokes, adding large amounts of Brussels sprouts suddenly can quietly change the way your body handles blood flow and clotting. Here's something most folks don't realize. Brussels sprouts are often combined with rich sauces or high-sodium toppings during the holidays. While these extras make them tastier, they also bring their own risks. High sodium can elevate blood pressure, and for seniors, sharp spikes in blood pressure create the perfect conditions for blood clots to form, particularly if the arteries are already narrowed by years of wear and tear. Let me tell you about Harold, age 79, who always loved Brussels sprouts with his holiday meals. A few years back, he started cooking them almost every week, sometimes even adding extra bacon or cheese. He didn't realize that the sodium, fat, and inconsistent amount of vitamin K were adding up, tipping the scales toward unpredictable blood tests. One winter, after a dizzy spell, Harold's doctor showed him how his new habits, though meant for health, actually complicated his blood chemistry. By learning to balance the portions, choosing healthier seasonings, and keeping his care team informed, Harold saw real improvements. He felt steadier, and his blood tests smoothed out, giving him a new sense of confidence and control. And there's one more point to consider. As we age, our digestive systems slow down. Foods that once went through our bodies with no trouble can start to linger, causing gas, bloating, or discomfort. This might seem minor, but if you feel unwell after eating, you might move less, hydrate less, and unintentionally create a set of circumstances that can increase clot risk. In summary, Brussels sprouts can be a valuable part of a senior's diet when eaten wisely. The secret is not in avoiding these foods, but in understanding the impact of sudden changes and how they interact with your medicines and your unique body. Talk with your doctor about your vegetable habits. Aim for steady, predictable intake, and be mindful of how you prepare your meals. It's these small daily choices that make the biggest difference for your long-term health and peace of mind. Final thoughts. As we wrap up today's video, I want you to take a quiet moment and reflect on these 5 vegetables and the hidden risks they can pose for seniors, especially when it comes to blood clotting and brain health. What stood out to you the most? Was there a story or lesson here that made you rethink something in your own kitchen or your daily routine? Maybe you saw a bit of yourself in George, Carol, Walter, Evelyn, or Harold. Maybe you realize that even healthy foods need to be understood in the context of your own body and medications. The most important lesson is this: growing older means paying attention to the details that never mattered in your youth. It means listening to your body, being honest with your doctor, and making steady, informed choices day in and day out. True confidence and self-growth at this age come not from following every trend or eating whatever someone else claims is the latest superfood, but from understanding your unique needs and respecting the wisdom you've gained over the years. So don't be afraid to ask questions, make changes slowly, and advocate for yourself. The more you understand about how your food, your medicine, and your lifestyle come together, the more power you have to shape a safer, healthier future. This isn't about fear, it's about knowledge, empowerment, and using every tool available to you to protect the life you've built. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you.